Three, two, one, go. So, welcome, folks. Just ahead of the Contenders Cup that's going to be happening for the SEAO region in Singapore this weekend, actually. I've tracked down the hardest to find man in all of the SEAO region, and that is none other than PoPo himself. Again, I just wanted to give some of the players who aren't going to be there at the Contenders Cup or in Singapore a bit of information behind all of the contenders that are going to be playing for that number one spot to move on to the World Grand Prix later on at the end of this year. Now, I don't want to put too many words in your mouth, but again, Popo, tell me and I guess the folks at home a little bit about yourself.
I started playing Shadowverse, I guess when it just came out,
Oh,
but I only started really playing the game when they started the competitive play program for the CO region.
hmm. And when did that start exactly? Do you remember?
It was around, you mean, I think 1.5 years ago?
About a year and a half ago, right? Dang. So I think you're one of the only two people that I've talked to who has actually been playing the game since the very beginning. I think most folks got into the game, I think maximum of 2 years ago, with the exception of I
Yeah,
think it was of Keo. Keo has been playing. I think he said he was playing since the beta. That's crazy. Were you also there in the beta with him?
no.
Fair enough. Fair
But at
enough.
the start, it was pretty casual, just like a daily login.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So then, what facilitated your jump from being like the casual player who logs in, plays a couple of games a day, maybe gets grinds just the dailies, to competitive player like entering the tournaments every month, basically consistently placing in tournament settings.
I mean, I think the first tournament we got in the CO region was one at Game Start, I think
Yeah.
2 years back. Yeah, that was basically. I think I stopped for a while before that tournament, but that tournament actually brought me back to the game.
Really? So you kind of decided to kind of enter into the competitive fray with GameStart, which I think actually GameStart Asia happened in Singapore over the past weekend, didn't it?
Yeah.
Did you go back this year?
No, I don't think that's.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
think there's much. I don't think there's a Shadowverse event this year at GameStop. Is there?
Yeah, I don't think there was a Shadowverse event. I know they. I saw a couple of photos of Igni kind of hanging around doing some talking a bit on camera with I think it was Bjorn, and there was one other fella. I'm sorry, his name escapes me right now, but I saw them. I saw a couple of pictures of them. So maybe Shadowverse was there in some at some point, but maybe not for a tournament or any competitive play.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. So then let's you kind of hopped into Shadowverse as a casual player. Are you free to play? Are you free to play player? F2P?
Mostly.
Okay, cool. So then you made your foray into the competitive scene with GameStart Asia, and then from there, I guess you just kept competing. And I mean, now you're one of the only people who actually qualified by points in the SEO region, which kind of says a lot. You know, a lot of these folks who are you're going to be facing this weekend have won the Shadowverse Opens, but to to your credit, you play solely by points, which means you had to place pretty consistently. How do you feel about the way you played this year?
Mm, I think that's quite a bit of improvement compared to how I played last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you think was the
Uh,
difference there?
Maybe I think watching more videos of other competitors playing throughout this year, it helped me improve my game a bit.
Hmm. Okay, so I guess I think a lot of folks, a lot of the really competitive players, they talk about going back and like studying your own match videos, but I guess also studying other players is pretty big boon to becoming a better Shadowverse player in itself, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's important. But I think it's important to study your own video as well.
Oh, really? So, right now, on a weekly basis, like on a regular week, how much would you say that you study or play Shadowverse?
Mm, Actually, mostly uh like towards the tournament, like 1 week before, I will get a few games in at night.
Okay.
But for a normal week, it's usually I play Shadowverse while I commute to work.
Oh, same. Early morning train Shadowverse. That's my thing, man. I can 100% relate. I live in Tokyo where like the commute to work is like an hour, and so I sit down, get a seat, and then just open up Shadowverse, collect my dailies, and just go in. Yeah. That's cool, man. So I want to kind of fast forward a little bit. Let's imagine that you go this weekend to Contenders Cup and you play awesome. You go in there and you just demolish all the other competitors. And so you get your spot to the World Grand Prix, and you go to the World Grand Prix, and then lo and behold, you just smack up everybody there. You know, Japan's nothing, Euro's trash, Pam whatever, and you know you're
That'll be
standing on
nice.
you're standing on stage and you have this $1 million check in your hand. What do you spend the money on?
Hmm, a million is a lot. It's hard to think of anything now.
Really? Is there like any like burning thing you'd be like, okay, I just quickly buy this, right? Whether it costs $1 million or like far less, doesn't matter.
Maybe we could go on a holiday,
Oh, holiday, all right.
a long one.
How long is a long holiday for PoPo?
Maybe 2 or 3 months.
That's it? I,
Yeah,
man, you got to think big, man. 2 or 3 years for $1 million will go pretty far. At that point, you can start thinking about just putting the money into something else, not even working, man. Start working for Shadowverse. Shoot.
yeah. I will call you when I'm there.
No, to just when that happens, just let me borrow $20. But I guess taking a step back, then, how do you currently feel about the meta? With Verdant Conflict just coming out, I think a lot of folks have kind of thought that or noted that this meta is a much faster meta than we've seen previously in a couple of expansions. What are your thoughts?
Yep, it's a aggressive meta. I think most deck would have their. You can't have absolute control of the game now, as in most deck would able to burst out a huge amount of damage. So mostly it's a race to see who get his win condition first.
Interesting. So then, would you say that like control decks really don't have a place in this meta at all?
I think there are control decks. There are, I think this blood, natural blood. I think
Okay.
is. I haven't much seen it in action. I haven't much played yet, but I think it's doing decently.
Ooh, okay.
Azazel does stop some burst damage.
No, you're absolutely correct. I actually, now that I think about it, Azazel, with the ability to just limit damage in bursts of threes going to Blood's face, that's pretty nice in cases of like fighting against Roach or Haven when they have an Agnes in their hand and they use Craving Splendor. Those sorts of things really, I guess, stop those decks in their tracks. Of course, Haven, spoiled with riches, has other ways to deal damage face, and maybe
Storm and more
yeah.
storm.
Yeah, Meowskers, of course, Saintly Squeaks, Featherfolk Punisher, all just ways to just quickly deliver like pings of damage to you, which I guess for Blood might not be the best scenario. But the more I think about Roach and how explosive Roach was at the past two Contenders Cups, I can kind of see the argument you make for Control Blood. I can see that. Maybe shades of what we see from you this weekend. But any classes that you think just you would hope that maybe get buffed or with the mini expansion, or any classes you hope would become better in the mini expansion?
Probably Artifact Porter.
Really? Why is that?
Yeah, because it's I think it's a fun deck to play.
Fun doesn't pay bills, man, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah. After we saw Maisha kind of do work last expansion, it's kind of sad to see that just end so abruptly. Their decks
Yeah,
just outpace her so much more effectively now. Even with the play point cheats, like it's hard to get like a turn 7 Maisha as a finisher. Meanwhile, yeah, like Roach and Blood can in you in like turn 6 or turn 8. Yeah.
Maybe in a slower meta.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I don't think it's easy. The natural package is pretty good.
No, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. I played just a couple of games with Haven Blood. Oh, she's not Haven Blood, but Storm Haven. And I just got a 10-game win streak. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I said, put the deck down. Like, that's too much power. Let me just take a step back.
There's
But
so much cheap draws too.
yeah, I mean, it's spoiled. It's got removal and the priest. It's got a priest of excess. It's got the draw from the trees. It's got storm from almost everything else in the deck. And I don't think many folks are running it now, but being able to just drop a two-tug common was pretty strong. So I guess I want to take a step back now. Outside of the actual game, who would you say right now is maybe one of your rivals or like one of the people that you're kind of gunning to beat this year?
Hmm, I would say I think Bima is a good player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably one of the someone that is out there to win this year.
Ooh, okay. So would you say that if this year Contenders Cup, let's say you beat Bima, would you consider this a successful year for yourself?
Hmm, I guess I did pretty well this year, and all it's left is the Contender Cup and to have fun.
Hmm.
I mean, um, sadly the Contender Cup is a single elimination tournament.
Ooh, yeah, that's hard. Conquest mode
Yeah,
single elimination is rough.
yeah, no ban, single elimination.
Yeah, you just got to take
So
whatever decks come at you. All right. Is there anybody that you don't want to run into at the Contenders Cup? Like you like if I don't have to fight one person, I hope it's not this guy. Is there anybody that you have in mind like that?
no,
All right.
not
Okay.
really.
So you're willing to take on anybody who comes your way then.
Yes, 3 wins.
That's
You
it,
know
right?
that.
That's it. It's just
Yeah.
3 wins. I can do that on ladder, no problem. All right. So then, I this is a question I've been asking a couple of other folks, and I've got some pretty surprising answers. But going into the Contenders Cup this weekend, do you think of yourself as the do you think yourself the best player going in from the SEO region?
Mm, actually, I can't say I've been practicing much this expansion.
Mm.
Yeah, and actually, I think this expansion is the decks are quite difficult to pilot properly.
Oh.
As in, play orders matters a lot this expansion, and I'm still having issues with it. So
Uh,
trying to work this out over these few days.
okay. Yeah. I saw. Actually, I was watching the the PAM Contenders Cup, and I actually watched a set where um what was it? One of the gentlemen he played out Daffodil in the wrong order, and then ended up trading Daffodil before he got the tree out, so he got no Muse, and that actually ended up costing him the game. So yeah, I 100% understand. Like in those really tense situations, it's tough to make those
Yeah,
plays.
and because of how the deck works, there's a lot of information you must upkeep in the later turns.
Mm.
Especially you have multiple draws, multiple one cost cards.
Yeah. Also, one ofs, making sure that you hold on to those for the exact situations you need them. Uh, One of the things I have noticed is that watching some of the VODs from PAM and Euros Contenders Cups is it seems like all the players are bringing notepads. They've got notepads to take notes. Are you much of a note taker yourself during competitive play?
Not really.
Oh, really, man? Come on, that's like the day one tech. All right, so if nothing else, if I can give you a piece of advice, completely unsolicited, um, take notes. Please take notes.
Yeah,
You'll
it
do it
better
yourself
help. Yeah.
wonders. All right, so moving on, I want to talk about a little something more lighthearted. So let's imagine that I have this magic wand in my hand, and I say, okay, PoPo, I'm going to give you this magic wand. And whenever you wave this wand, you get to create the next expansion. And the theme of the expansion is anything you want. It can be movies, it can be music, it can be TV shows, anime, anything. It can be sneakers if you wanted it to. So I give you this wand, you wave it, and what is PoPo's dream expansion?
Sneaker sounds the most interesting.
You say sneakers sounds the most interesting?
You can have 100 card sneaker set.
just for the collectors, like there's one deck that just has like the if you like collect X amount of sneakers in hand, like you just win the game. But you got to get all the sets, right? There's the left shoe and the right shoe. You got to get all the right pairs. I don't know. I don't know why I thought of sneakers, but I don't know. Just a bunch of my friends are becoming what I call sneakerheads, and so that was actually one of their thoughts. So I'll let them know that you quite agree with the idea. So then I don't want to keep you for too long. I do know you're a busy guy, but for the folks who aren't going to be at Contenders Cup this weekend, who won't be in Singapore, they'll be watching from home on YouTube or Twitter, or she's not Twitter, but Twitch, or wherever they're going to be watching from. They'll see you up there. They'll see you playing. Why should they root for you? This is kind of like your message to the folks out there. Why is PoPo the right choice to root for and to back for Contenders Cup?
Because it's me. No one knows who I am.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, the unless you have like a ski mask or something, the veil gets lifted at Contenders Cup. So. But it's fine. Maybe they won't recognize you because they haven't seen you before. The picture I have up might not even be you. So, folks at home, the international man of mystery, PoPo himself, please root for him at Contenders Cup. Before we get out of here, PoPo, do you have any last words or shout-outs you want to give to anybody?
Yeah, I would like to thank my friends, Shin KD and Green Cat for helping me practice for SVO throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the community has been great too.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. I kind of jumped into the community not to a little over a year ago, and from there just greeted with open arms. Really great guys, especially in the discords. Very very fast friends I've made. So I'm glad that I'm not the only person who's kind of felt that way about the Shadowverse scene. All right. Well, again, I know you're a very busy guy, and like myself, you also have work in the morning, so I won't keep you again. It's already pretty late here in Tokyo. I'm sure it's late there wherever you are. But again, best of luck this weekend, PoPo. I wish you all the best in high rolling the hell out of people and getting all the right top decks that you need, and hopefully taking a Contenders Cup for 2019. All right, take care, buddy.
Okay, thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.